Prime Minister Narendra Modi acknowledging the Karyakartas of the BJP as yet another victory run gets completed after that mammoth victory in Gujarat. The disappointment in Himachal set aside. It's yet again a triumphant run in the northeast states of Meghalaya, Nagaland and of course Tripura. In Tripura and Nagaland, the BJP comes back to form the government. And in Meghalaya, the alliance with the NPP continues as Conrad Sangma steamrolls the opposition there, and the BJP will form the government as the second partner, but the major partner in NEDA. So, continuation of the series or the promise of Vikas in Northeast. The Prime Minister himself has made more than 50 visits to the Northeast ever since coming into power and becoming Prime Minister. And walking the talk, more than 400 visits by the union ministers across various ministries. Sharp focus, reduction in violence, and of course the promise of a better, brighter, inclusive future for the people of the Northeast, where the dynamics in each state are variant, although these states are all huddled together and called the Seven Sisters. So from Gujarat towards the Northeast and now to the heart of the country and towards the South, the challenge for the BJP is to continue this aggressive run, this bull run into May 2024, Lok Sabha 2024, and they are riding at the back of perhaps a person who is enjoying the height of his popularity not just in India but the world over. Only today, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been hailed by the Italian Prime Minister too, who is visiting India, saying he is one of the most loved leaders. The BJP has to credit its success to the charisma of this man, the vision of this man, and his relentless, tireless promise towards working for India. There are many faults, there are many an issue that need to be ironed out, but when we talk about the electoral poll machinery, nothing can match right now the ability and the might of the BJP. There are lessons to be learned for the opposition. Where a Tipra Motha can make such a severe dent and rise in Tripura, that means, was that an opportunity forsaken or missed by the opposition to corner the BJP? Meghalaya is a case in point for the BJP, where despite coming back into power with the alliance with Conrad Sangma's party, the BJP has not improved its mark. It continues to remain just at 2 seats in Meghalaya. But overall, it's a victory run. The BJP will take every win and will play it up, because Prime Minister will use this to energize the Karyakartas in the other poll-bound states. Rajasthan is a challenge, Chhattisgarh is a challenge, Madhya Pradesh is a challenge, Karnataka is a challenge. All of them are going to go to the ballot before the country goes to the ballot in May 2024. Prime Minister Narendra Modi stepping down, acknowledging everyone. One by one, we'd have the addresses coming through. Shouts and chants of Bharat Mata Ki Jai. The BJP President JP Nadda, who's been given an extension, another tenure. We'll have the Union Minister for Home, Amit Shah, very integral to the BJP's electoral machinery and planning. And of course, BL Santosh, the Organizational General Secretary. They're all present there. There are many who now don't find a place in the Union Ministry or in the Cabinet, but have been given and tasked with work towards the Northeast. They will also be lauded for their efforts on ground. But as the Prime Minister steps down, this is one big victory run which the BJP will want to impress upon the people, upon the Karyakartas, and also tell the opposition. Prime Minister's clarion call or challenge, "Ek akela sab par bhari pad gaya," will continue to ring. Interestingly, as he entered, the message that was played was patriotic. The message was the kavita or the poem that he had recited ahead of the 2019 elections, where he had said that I pledge on the soil of my motherland that I will do everything to increase the stature of Bharat and to ensure that Bharat never gets embarrassed or gets compromised. As the Prime Minister takes his seat, we'll wait for him to speak, but Arun Danta is with us on ground. We have Tuhin Sinha and Riju Datta also joining us. The electoral results are a story in itself. Arun, the atmosphere at the BJP headquarters? Is the turnout as big as it was post the Gujarat win?
Well, Anand, I don't know whether you can hear me. It's electrifying. It's electrifying here at BJP headquarters, and we are seeing that Prime Minister Modi being garlanded by BJP Chief JP Nadda and Union Home Minister Amit Shah, and the entire BJP headquarters here is completely filled with the people. It's a chock-a-block situation here at BJP office, and Anand, one thing here, that people are not only happy with the fact that BJP has done well in Northeast, but they are happy to see Prime Minister Modi this up close, because they do not get the opportunity to see Prime Minister Modi with such a closeness, and therefore they are excited with this fact that they're so close to Prime Minister Modi, where they can in fact see Prime Minister Modi in a very bare minimum distance, and now we are seeing that BJP Chief JP Nadda is there on the dais. He will be speaking and thanking the cadres of Bharatiya Janata Party, and then of course we will hear none other than the Prime Minister Modi speaking and thanking the people of Northeast who supported. And Anand, this also shows that BJP is not a party of Hindi heartland only. So this is a game of narrative which BJP has.
Well, Arun, let's listen in to the BJP National President JP Nadda. He's addressing the gathering there.
आज के इस विजय उत्सव पर त्रिपुरा, नागालैंड और मेघालय में कमल पुनः खिलने पर आज हम सबके बीच में विजय उत्सव मनाने के लिए और हमारा हौसला बढ़ाने के लिए भारत के यशस्वी प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी का मैं अपनी ओर से और आप सबकी ओर से उनका हार्दिक अभिनंदन करता हूं, स्वागत करता हूं। जैसा मैंने कहा कि आप सबकी ओर से प्रधानमंत्री जी का अभिनंदन करता हूं, स्वागत करता हूं, और देश भर के लाखों कार्यकर्ता जो आज इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मीडिया के माध्यम से जुड़े हैं, उन सब की ओर से भी प्रधानमंत्री जी का हार्दिक अभिनंदन, स्वागत। साथ ही साथ अभिनंदन के साथ जिस तरीके से प्रधानमंत्री जी ने नॉर्थ ईस्ट के अंदर त्रिपुरा में दोबारा सरकार बनाने में जिस तरीके से नेतृत्व दिया है और नागालैंड में भारतीय जनता पार्टी को यशस्वी बनाया और मेघालय में भी वोट परसेंटेज को आगे बढ़ाने में योगदान किया है, मैं आप सबकी ओर से, लाखों कार्यकर्ताओं की ओर से प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी को इस अथक प्रयास और नेतृत्व के लिए आप सबकी ओर से उनका हार्दिक अभिनंदन और स्वागत करता हूं। मित्रों, जो आज आप जीत दोबारा दर्ज करा रहे हैं त्रिपुरा में, नागालैंड में अपने आप को स्थापित करते हुए आगे बढ़ रहे हैं, यह कोई अनायास ही नहीं हुआ है। प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी ने एक लंबी सोच लेकर, एक दूरदृष्टि लेकर, एक संकल्प लेकर भारत की राजनीति में और राजनेताओं के द्वारा जिस नॉर्थ ईस्ट का उपेक्षा की जा रही थी, उसको मुख्य धारा में लाने का काम और नीतिगत निर्णय लेते हुए नॉर्थ ईस्ट को आगे बढ़ाने का काम आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी ने किया। इस कारण से हमको ये सफलता मिली है। आप सबको याद होगा, आप सबको याद होगा कि प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा था कि अगर देश के अन्य इलाके विकास कर सकते हैं, अगर देश के अन्य इलाके मुख्य धारा में आकर के आगे बढ़ सकते हैं, तो हमारा नॉर्थ ईस्ट क्यों नहीं विकास कर सकता। और इस बात को लेकर के संकल्प लेकर के नॉर्थ ईस्ट को आगे बढ़ाने का काम किया है। आज आपको जानकर के खुशी होगी कि प्रधानमंत्री जी ने लुक ईस्ट पॉलिसी, पूर्व की ओर देखो, पूर्वोत्तर की ओर देखो और पूर्वोत्तर को आगे बढ़ाने का काम करे, इस नीति को लेकर के प्रधानमंत्री जी चले। और आपको जानकर के यह भी खुशी होगी कि भारत के पहले प्रधानमंत्री हैं मोदी जी, जिन्होंने नॉर्थ ईस्ट में 50 बार से ज्यादा नॉर्थ ईस्ट का भ्रमण किया और नॉर्थ ईस्ट को मुख्य धारा में लेकर के आए। पहले प्रधानमंत्री हैं जिन्होंने नॉर्थ ईस्ट के लिए एक लक्ष्य तय किया और नॉर्थ ईस्ट पूर्वोत्तर राज्यों को मुख्य धारा में लाने के लिए अष्टलक्ष्मी की बात कहते हुए सारे नॉर्थ ईस्ट के स्टेट्स का विकास करने की बात आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने करी। और इसके साथ साथ प्रधानमंत्री जी ने अष्ट लक्ष्मी के साथ साथ अष्ट आधार भी दिए और उसका मंत्र भी हम सबको दिया। क्या मंत्र था कि नॉर्थ ईस्ट में शांति होनी चाहिए, नॉर्थ ईस्ट में पावर की बहुत बड़ी गुंजाइश है, इसलिए एनर्जी का काम होना चाहिए, नॉर्थ ईस्ट में नेचुरल फार्मिंग होनी चाहिए, नॉर्थ ईस्ट को 5G से कनेक्ट करना चाहिए, नॉर्थ ईस्ट को खेल कूद में बढ़ावा देना चाहिए और नॉर्थ ईस्ट को जो उसकी पोटेंशियल है उसको पूरा का पूरा आगे बढ़ाना चाहिए। ये 8 मंत्र लेकर के प्रधानमंत्री जी ने अष्टलक्ष्मी को संवारने का काम किया, आगे बढ़ाने का काम किया। आपको जानकर के खुशी होगी कि हम चुनाव के नतीजों के बाद त्रिपुरा में दोबारा सरकार बना रहे हैं प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी के नेतृत्व के कारण। आज असम में हमने दोबारा सरकार बनाई, अरुणाचल प्रदेश में हम सरकार में हैं, मणिपुर में हमने दोबारा सरकार बनाई और इसी तरीके से आगे चल करके हम नागालैंड में सरकार अभी बना रहे हैं और आगे भी हम इन चुनावों के माध्यम से भारतीय जनता पार्टी को मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में और मजबूत करके आगे बढ़ेंगे, इस बात का हम संकल्प लेते हैं। मैं एक बात और बताना चाहता हूं, जब प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी 2014 में प्रधानमंत्री बने, उस समय पूर्वोत्तर कैसा पूर्वोत्तर था? पूर्वोत्तर जाना जाता था बंद के लिए, ब्लॉकेड के लिए, इंसर्जेंसी के लिए, आतंकवाद के लिए, टारगेटेड किलिंग के लिए, तय करके किसी को किलिंग करना, अबडक्शन कर लेना, अपहरण कर लेना, इसके लिए नॉर्थ ईस्ट जाना जाता था। दिनों नहीं ब्लॉकेड लगते थे, महीनों ब्लॉकेड लगते थे, सारा काम रुक जाता था। लेकिन प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी के नेतृत्व ने नॉर्थ ईस्ट की तस्वीर और तकदीर बदल डाली। आज नॉर्थ ईस्ट शांति के लिए जाना जाता है, आज नॉर्थ ईस्ट स्थिरता के लिए जाना जाता है। आज नॉर्थ ईस्ट सद्भाव के लिए जाना जाता है। आज नॉर्थ ईस्ट, वहां इंसर्जेंसी नाम की चीज समाप्त हो गई प्राय। और उसी तरीके से वार्तालाप के द्वारा प्रधानमंत्री जी ने जितने भी इस तरीके के ग्रुप्स थे उनसे वार्तालाप करते हुए नॉर्थ ईस्ट में शांति लाने का काम और स्थिरता लाने का काम आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने किया है। मैं यहां यह भी बताना चाहता हूं कि कांग्रेस पार्टी ने नॉर्थ ईस्ट को एटीएम समझ रखा था, एटीएम समझ रखा था। पैसे कमाओ, भ्रष्टाचार होने दो, वहां के लोगों का जो होता है सो हो, लेकिन भ्रष्टाचार मुक्त, शांति युक्त, विकास युक्त नॉर्थ ईस्ट को सरकारें दी तो प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी के नेतृत्व के कारण मिला है। इस बात को भी हमको समझना होगा। मैं यहां यह भी आपको बताना चाहता हूं कि आज जहां शांति आई वहीं विकास के नए आयाम भी लिखे गए। और इसके लिए प्रधानमंत्री जी ने मंत्र क्या दिया? मंत्र दिया हीरा। हाईवे, इंटरनेट, रेलवेज और एयरवेज, यानी एयरपोर्ट का विकास हो, कनेक्टिविटी है। आज नॉर्थ ईस्ट के किसी भी कैपिटल में जाने में कोई दिक्कत नहीं होती। हम कुछ घंटों में दिल्ली से उड़कर वहां पहुंच सकते हैं। यह परिस्थिति आकर के खड़ी हुई है। आपको जानकर के खुशी होगी कि नागालैंड में 100 साल के बाद दूसरा रेलवे स्टेशन शौखोवी बना, तो वह भी प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में बना। हजारों करोड़ रुपए खर्च हुए और उस विकास की दृष्टि से सड़कों का जाल बिछा। आज नेशनल हाईवे, 4 वे, 6 वे लेन, इस तरीके की योजनाएं चल रही हैं। अगरतला से लेकर के कलकत्ता तक यह सड़कों का जाल बिछा करके जो 36 घंटे लगते थे वो 16 घंटे में पूरा करने का संकल्प लिया तो प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी ने लिया। इसलिए विकास की नई योजनाएं बना करके चले। और आज जो हमको नतीजे देखने को मिल रहे हैं, ये प्रधानमंत्री जी की दूरदृष्टि, लगन, कर्मठ तरीके से उन चीजों को नीचे धरती पर उतारना, गांव, गरीब, वंचित, पीड़ित, शोषित, दलित, इनको मजबूती देना, प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना के तहत ताकत देना, प्रधानमंत्री गरीब कल्याण अन्न योजना के का ताकत देना ताकि कोई गरीब भूखा न सोए, इसकी व्यवस्था करना। हर दृष्टि से एक कोशिश हुई है हमारे स्वच्छता अभियान के तरीके से हर स्टेट में महिलाओं को, उनको इज्जत घर देना और उनको इज्जत देना, यह काम मोदी जी ने संकल्प के रूप में लिया है। और यही कारण है कि आज यह परिवर्तन हमको देखने को मिलता है। मैं यहां यह भी कहना चाहूंगा, आज कांग्रेस का क्या हाल हो गया, कहीं देखने को नहीं मिलती है। लेकिन अभी भी रस्सी जल गई है, बल नहीं गया है। ऐंठन चली गई, ऐंठन अभी भी बरकरार है, जमीन खिसक गई है और अभी भी सुबुद्धि नाम की चीज दूर दूर तक उनके नजदीक नहीं आई है। और देखिए किस तरीके की भाषा आज कांग्रेस पार्टी इस्तेमाल कर रही है, किस तरीके की असभ्य भाषा में उतर आए हैं, किस तरीके से प्रधानमंत्री जी के बारे में टिप्पणी कर रहे हैं, किस तरीके से राजनीति की हर सीमाओं को लांघ करके वो अपना छोटापन और ओछापन दिखा रहे हैं। लेकिन प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में आप सब लोग मिलकर हर जगह कमल ही कमल खिला रहे हैं, कमल ही कमल खिला रहे हैं। ये आपके नारे, ये मोदी जी के प्रति आपका प्यार, ये दुनिया में संदेश दे रहा है कि तुम अपनी भाषा से कितने भी नीचे चले जाओ, भारत मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में आगे ही बढ़ने वाला है और तीव्र गति से चलने वाला है। मैं आपके और हमारे यशस्वी प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी के बीच में ज्यादा देर न रहता हुआ मैं आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी से निवेदन करूंगा कि वो हम सबका मार्गदर्शन करें और उनको विश्वास दिलाऊंगा कि हम उनके रास्ते पर चलेंगे। आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री।
भारत माता की, भारत माता की, भारत माता की। सबसे पहले मेरी आप सबको एक प्रार्थना है। नॉर्थ ईस्ट के हमारे सभी भाइयों बहनों के सम्मान में, नॉर्थ ईस्ट के हमारे सभी नागरिकों के सम्मान में आप अपना मोबाइल फोन निकाल करके फ्लैश लाइट चालू कीजिए और नॉर्थ ईस्ट के सभी नागरिकों का अभिनंदन कीजिए। जिन जिन के पास मोबाइल है अपनी फ्लैश चला करके, ये नॉर्थ ईस्ट के नागरिकों का सम्मान है, ये नॉर्थ ईस्ट के देशभक्ति का सम्मान है, ये नॉर्थ ईस्ट का प्रगति के रास्ते पर जाने का सम्मान है। ये नॉर्थ ईस्ट के लोगों के सम्मान में आपने जो ये मोबाइल फोन के माध्यम से प्रकाश फैलाया है, ये प्रकाश उनके सम्मान में है, उनके गौरव में है। आपका मैं धन्यवाद करता हूं। साथियों, बीते वर्षों में भाजपा मुख्यालय ऐसे अनेक अवसरों का साक्षी बना है। आज हमारे लिए जनता जनार्दन को विनम्रता से नमन करने का एक और अवसर आया है। मैं त्रिपुरा, मेघालय और नागालैंड की जनता का सर झुकाकर वंदन करता हूं, उन सबका आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। इन राज्यों की जनता ने बीजेपी और हमारे साथी सहयोगियों को भरपूर आशीर्वाद दिया है। मैं आज त्रिपुरा, नागालैंड और मेघालय के बीजेपी कार्यकर्ताओं को भी बहुत बधाई देता हूं। दिल्ली में या हमारे अन्य इलाकों में बीजेपी का काम करना उतना कठिन नहीं है जितना नॉर्थ ईस्ट में है। वहां का कार्यकर्ता हमसे अनेक गुना मेहनत करता है और इसलिए वहां के कार्यकर्ता विशेष रूप से अभिनंदन के अधिकारी हैं। आज के नतीजे आप सभी भाजपा कार्यकर्ताओं की मेहनत का परिणाम है। साथियों, आज के चुनाव और इन चुनाव परिणामों में देश के लिए, दुनिया के लिए बहुत सारे संदेश हैं। आज के नतीजे ये दिखाते हैं कि भारत में लोकतंत्र और लोकतांत्रिक व्यवस्थाओं पर कितनी आस्था है, एक मजबूत आशावाद है। लोकतंत्र की राह पर चलते हुए हर शंका आशंका का समाधान हो सकता है, बदलाव लाया जा सकता है। एक समय था जब नॉर्थ ईस्ट में चुनाव होते थे, नतीजे आते थे, तो दिल्ली में और देश के अन्य हिस्सों में उतनी चर्चा ही नहीं होती थी। जो चर्चा होती भी थी तो वो चुनावी हिंसा की होती थी, बम बंदूक और ब्लॉकेड की चर्चा होती थी। त्रिपुरा में तो हाल ये था कि पहले एक पार्टी के अलावा किसी दूसरी पार्टी का झंडा तक नहीं लगाया जा सकता था, और अगर किसी ने लगाने की कोशिश की तो उसको लहूलुहान कर दिया जाता था। इस बार इन चुनावों में हमने कितना बड़ा परिवर्तन देखा है। भाजपा ने नॉर्थ ईस्ट की राजनीति की दिशा ही नहीं, उसकी दशा ही नहीं, लेकिन एक आत्मविश्वास से भरा हुआ और नई दिशा पर चल पड़ा हुआ नॉर्थ ईस्ट हम देख रहे हैं। आज सुबह से मैं जब टीवी देख पाया, इन चुनावों के नतीजे ही छाए रहे। ये सिर्फ दिलों की दूरी समाप्त होने का ही नहीं, बल्कि ये नई सोच का प्रतिबिंब है। अब नॉर्थ ईस्ट न दिल्ली से दूर है और न ही दिल से दूर है। ये युग परिवर्तन का समय है। ये नया इतिहास रचे जाने का समय है। मैं नॉर्थ ईस्ट की शांति, समृद्धि और विकास का ये समय देख रहा हूं। मुझे याद है कि कुछ दिनों पहले जब मैं नॉर्थ ईस्ट गया था तो किसी ने मुझे बोला कि मोदी जी, आपको अपनी हाफ सेंचुरी के लिए बहुत बहुत बधाई। तो मैंने उनको पूछा कि भाई ये कैसी हाफ सेंचुरी आप बता रहे हैं? तब उन्होंने मुझे बताया कि जब से बोले आप प्रधानमंत्री बने हैं, आप 50 से भी ज्यादा बार नॉर्थ ईस्ट का विजिट कर चुके हैं, जो अभी नड्डा जी बता रहे थे। साथियों, सवाल बधाई का नहीं है, लेकिन जब एक नागरिक मुझे ये कह रहा था तब मैं अनुभव कर रहा था कि जाने मात्र से इसके दिल को कितना सुकून मिला है। नॉर्थ ईस्ट के राज्यों के दिलों में कितना प्यार उमड़ करके आया है, उसकी वो अभिव्यक्ति थी। और तब मुझे लगता था कि मेहनत कभी न कभी तो रंग लाती है। चुनाव जीतने से भी ज्यादा मुझे इस बात का संतोष है कि प्रधानमंत्री के कार्यकाल में बार बार नॉर्थ ईस्ट जाकर के मैंने उनके दिलों को जीता है, और वो मेरे लिए सबसे बड़ी जीत है। मुझे ये संतोष भी हुआ कि पूर्वोत्तर के लोगों को ये एहसास हो रहा है कि अब उनकी उपेक्षा नहीं होती। केंद्र की भाजपा सरकार में नॉर्थ ईस्ट के राज्यों को भी उतना ही महत्व मिलता है। साथियों, आज बहुत सारे पॉलिटिकल विश्लेषक बीजेपी की सफलता को समझने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं। कुछ हमारे विशेष शुभचिंतक भी हैं। इन विशेष शुभचिंतक जिनके पेट में ये सोच सोच करके दर्द होता है कि बीजेपी की जीत का राज क्या है। साथियों, मैं ज्यादा तो टीवी देख नहीं पाता हूं, लेकिन मुझे लगता है कि शायद अब तक मैंने देखा नहीं है कि ईवीएम पर कोई गाली पड़नी शुरू हुई है कि नहीं हुई है। लेकिन ऐसे हर शुभचिंतक को मैं बीजेपी की सफलता का रहस्य बताना चाहता हूं। भाजपा के विजय अभियान का रहस्य छिपा है त्रिवेणी में। त्रिवेणी यानी 3 धाराओं का संगम। इस त्रिवेणी की पहली शक्ति है भाजपा सरकारों का कार्य। इस त्रिवेणी की दूसरी शक्ति है भाजपा सरकारों की कार्य संस्कृति। और इस त्रिवेणी की तीसरी शक्ति है भाजपा के कार्यकर्ताओं का सेवा भाव। ये त्रिवेणी मिलकर भाजपा की शक्ति को 1+1+1 यानी 111 गुना बढ़ा देते हैं। हमने देश को एक नई राजनीति दी है, राजनीति की एक नई संस्कृति दी है। हमने सबका साथ, सबका विकास, सबका विश्वास और सबका प्रयास, एक नया विकास मॉडल देश को दिया है। हमारे काम के तौर तरीकों में कोई भेदभाव नहीं होता। हम सबके विकास में भरोसा करते हैं। हम सबके लिए सेवा भाव से काम करते हैं। हमारी प्रेरणा है एक भारत श्रेष्ठ भारत। भाजपा का विकास मॉडल देश हित को सर्वोपरि रखता है। हमारे लिए देश प्रथम है, देशवासी प्रथम है। साथियों, हमारे देश में हमेशा से एक और पॉलिटिकल मॉडल रहा जिसमें पहले ऐसा कहते थे कि जो दूरदृष्टा होते हैं, स्टेट्समैन होते हैं, वो आने वाली पीढ़ियों का सोचते हैं और पॉलिटिशियन के लिए कहा जाता था कि वो अगले चुनाव का सोचते हैं। तो मुझे किसी ने एक बार कहा तो मैंने कहा अब कहावत और बदल गई है। बोले क्या? मैंने कहा पहले जो स्टेट्समैन होते हैं वो अगली पीढ़ी के लिए सोचते हैं। पहले कहा जाता था कि पॉलिटिशियन अगले चुनाव के लिए सोचते हैं, लेकिन आज तो समय ऐसा बदल गया है कि पॉलिटिशियन दूसरे दिन के अखबार में क्या छपेगा इस पर ही सोचते रहते हैं। शाम को टीवी में उनकी तस्वीर आएगी कि नहीं, यही सोचते रहते हैं। और इसलिए जो आसान चीजें होती हैं, जो जरा मुंह में पानी छूट जाए ऐसी चीजें होती हैं, और जिससे लोगों को आसानी से गुमराह किया जा सकता है, उसी मॉडल पर चलने की फैशन बढ़ रही है। राजनीति के इस मॉडल में कठिन लक्ष्यों को हाथ ही नहीं लगाया जाता था, तब समस्याओं को ऐसे टाल दिया जाता था जैसे उनका कोई अस्तित्व ही नहीं है, समस्या की तरफ देखना ही नहीं। ये पॉलिटिकल मॉडल कठिनाइयों का हल नहीं करता था, बल्कि लोगों के जीवन को लंबे समय के लिए कठिनाई में जीने के लिए मजबूर कर देता था। भाजपा ने इस अप्रोच को पूरी तरह बदल दिया है। हम सबसे कठिन चीजों को हल करने के लिए कठिन से कठिन मेहनत करते हैं, और तमाम मुश्किलों के बावजूद समाधान के जो भी रास्ते मिले उन रास्तों पर चलने का ईमानदारी से प्रयास करते हैं। हम ये नहीं देखते कि इस काम को करना कितना मुश्किल होगा, बल्कि हम ये देखते हैं कि अगर हमने इस काम को नहीं किया तो लोगों का जीवन और कितना मुश्किल हो जाएगा। हमें दर्द होता है, हमारी नींद चली जाती है। नॉर्थ ईस्ट का उदाहरण ही हमारे सामने है। आजादी के 7 दशकों बाद भी नॉर्थ ईस्ट के हजारों गांवों तक बिजली नहीं पहुंची थी। साथियों, क्या 21वीं सदी में बिना बिजली की जिंदगी कोई कल्पना कर सकता है? पहले की सरकारों ने देखा कि वहां तक बिजली पहुंचाना कठिन काम है, इसलिए उन गांवों को अंधेरे में छोड़ दिया गया। नॉर्थ ईस्ट के लोगों को घर, पक्के घर, उनको नल से जल, उनके घरों में गैस का कनेक्शन ये उपलब्ध कराने ये पहले की सरकारों के काम की सूची में ही नहीं था, क्योंकि उनके लिए न तो उन क्षेत्रों की परवाह थी और न ही ऐसे कठिन कामों को करने का हौसला था। एयरपोर्ट, हाईवे, रेलवे, ये कनेक्टिविटी नॉर्थ ईस्ट में इन चीजों के विकास को भी कठिन मान लिया गया था। पहले की सरकारें कठिनाइयों से बचती रही और इसकी वजह से हर परियोजना में देरी होती रही। हमने इन परियोजनाओं को पूरा किया और लगातार मेहनत कर रहे हैं। हमारे ऐसे ही प्रयासों की वजह से आज देश पहली बार गरीबी के खिलाफ इतनी मजबूती से लड़ रहा है। और मुझे तो खुशी है कि मेरा गरीब भाई भी गरीबी को खत्म करने के लिए मेरे साथ कंधे से कंधा खड़ा लगा करके मेहनत कर रहा है। इसलिए आज भारत के विकास और उसकी रफ्तार की तारीफ पूरी दुनिया में हो रही है। हो रही है कि नहीं हो रही है? चारों तरफ गुंज सुनाई दे रही है कि नहीं सुनाई दे रही है? साथियों, भाजपा के विजय अभियान में जो हमारी त्रिवेणी की तीसरी शक्ति है, शिव जी के भी कहते हैं ना, तीसरा नेत्र सबसे सामर्थ्यवान माना जाता है। ये हमारी जो तीसरी शक्ति है, वो तीसरी शक्ति हमारे भाजपा के कार्यकर्ता है और मैं उनको बार बार नमन करता हूं। भाजपा के कार्यकर्ता का सेवा भाव अतुल्य है। भाजपा के कार्यकर्ता का श्रम और समर्पण अतुल्य है। भाजपा के कार्यकर्ता की पहचान उसके अनुशासन से होती है। हमारी पार्टी ने बड़ी से बड़ी मुश्किलों को देखा है। हमने कठिन से कठिन परिस्थितियों का सामना किया है, लेकिन हमारे कार्यकर्ता ने मुश्किल से मुश्किल हालातों में भी पार्टी का झंडा बुलंद रखा है। भाजपा जब कदम बढ़ाती है तो उसे रोकने के लिए उसके कार्यकर्ताओं को प्रताड़ित किया जाता है, उनके खिलाफ हिंसा की होती है, लेकिन वो राष्ट्र के लिए, राष्ट्र निर्माण के लिए संकल्पित होते हैं। इसलिए वो त्याग की पराकाष्ठा से पार्टी के कदमों को और देश के सपनों को कभी भी टूटने नहीं देते हैं, निरंतर आगे बढ़ते रहते हैं। जिस पार्टी के पास कार्य हो, कार्य संस्कृति हो और ऐसे समर्पित कार्यकर्ता हो, उसके लिए कुछ भी असंभव नहीं है। साथियों, आज मुझे ये देखकर भी खुशी है, हर चुनाव के साथ साथ देश की बहनों बेटियों का सुरक्षा कवच बीजेपी के लिए मजबूत होता जा रहा है। त्रिपुरा की, नॉर्थ ईस्ट की बहनों को भी मैं इस भरोसे के लिए विशेष आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। ये बीजेपी का सौभाग्य रहा है कि हमने नागालैंड को पहली राज्यसभा सांसद एक महिला को देकर के शुभ शुरुआत की। आज नागालैंड में तो पहली बार महिला उम्मीदवार चुनाव जीतकर विधानसभा पहुंची है। ये हम सभी के लिए, पूरे देश की माताओं बहनों के लिए गौरव की बात है। बीजेपी महिलाओं के सशक्तिकरण के लिए प्रतिबद्ध है। पीएम आवास योजना में महिलाओं के नाम घर हो, जल जीवन मिशन के तहत हर घर पाइप से पानी पहुंचाना हो, गरीब कल्याण योजना के तहत मुफ्त राशन देना हो, आयुष्मान भारत योजना के तहत 5 लाख रुपए तक का मुफ्त इलाज देना हो, मुद्रा योजना के माध्यम से बिना गारंटी लिए 10 लाख रुपए तक की मदद हो, ऐसी अनेक योजना का लाभ नॉर्थ ईस्ट की लाखों बहनों को हुआ है। इसलिए उनका भरोसा भाजपा पर लगातार सशक्त हो रहा है। ऐसे समय में जब कुछ लोग मोदी की कब्र खोदने की ख्वाहिश कर रहे हैं, जहां मौका पड़ता है कमल खिलता ही जा रहा है, खिलता ही जा रहा है। कुछ लोग कट्टर की पहचान में लगे हुए हैं। वो हर काम बेईमानी भी कट्टरता से करते हैं। ये कट्टर लोग कहते हैं मर जा मोदी, वो कहते हैं मर जा मोदी। देश कह रहे हैं मत जा मोदी, मत जा मोदी, मत जा। साथियों, आज के चुनाव नतीजों के बाद आज के नतीजों के बाद कांग्रेस ने छोटों के प्रति अपनी नफरत को फिर से जग जाहिर कर दिया। कांग्रेस कह रही है और अध्यक्ष उनके कह रहे हैं कि ये तो छोटे राज्य हैं, इनके नतीजे उतना मायने नहीं रखते। जब दिल में ही भारत को जोड़ने की भावना ना हो तो ऐसे बोल निकलते ही है। ये इन राज्यों के लोगों का अपमान है, जनमत का अपमान है। छोटे राज्यों को इस तरह तिरस्कार की भावना से देखकर कांग्रेस बहुत बड़ी गलती कर रही है। इसी सोच की वजह से कांग्रेस ने हमेशा देश के गरीब को छोटा समझा, देश के दलित, पिछड़ों, आदिवासियों को छोटा समझा। कांग्रेस ने हमेशा संख्या बल को, वोट बैंक को देखते हुए राजनीति की है। यही मानसिकता है जिसने आजादी के बाद देश का बहुत बड़ा नुकसान किया है। जब हमारी सरकार ने गरीब के लिए शौचालय बनाए तो कांग्रेस उसे छोटा काम कहती रही। जब हमने गरीब के बैंक खाते खुलवाए तो कांग्रेस ने उसे भी छोटा काम बताया। जब हमने सफाई अभियान चलाया कांग्रेस ने छोटा काम मानकर उसका भी मजाक उड़ाया। मैं कांग्रेस से कहना चाहता हूं, छोटे लोगों से, छोटे राज्यों से यही नफरत आपको आगे भी चुनाव में डुबोने जा रही है। आज नॉर्थ ईस्ट के नतीजों ने बीजेपी के खिलाफ वर्षों से चलाए जा रहे एक और प्रोपेगेंडा को भी ध्वस्त कर दिया है। आप सभी जानते हैं कि कुछ विरोधी दलों ने और उनके इकोसिस्टम ने हमेशा भाजपा पर एक लेबल चिपकाने की कोशिश की है। शुरुआत में बीजेपी को बनिया पार्टी कहा गया, हिंदी पट्टी की पार्टी कहा गया, फिर कहा गया कि बीजेपी सिर्फ शहरी मिडिल क्लास की पार्टी है और गांवों में कोई आधार नहीं है। समय के साथ इन सारे मिथकों को बीजेपी ने तोड़ दिया, लेकिन इसके साथ ही विरोधी दल ये कहने लगे कि आदिवासी क्षेत्रों में बीजेपी को उतना समर्थन नहीं है। पिछले 10 सालों में हमने इस भ्रम को भी तोड़ दिया है। आज देश का आदिवासी समाज ही नहीं, दलित और पिछड़े भी भाजपा के साथ है। अभी हमने गुजरात चुनाव में भी देखा है कि कैसे आदिवासी पट्टे में भाजपा को जबरदस्त जीत मिली है। साथियों, हमारे यहां बरसों तक माइनॉरिटीज को भी बीजेपी का डर दिखाया गया। देश विदेश में प्रोपेगेंडा चलाया गया, लेकिन अपप्रचार की इस झूठ की पोल गोवा के लोग खोलते रहे हैं। अब नॉर्थ ईस्ट के लोग भी इस झूठ की पोल खोलने में जुट गए हैं। नागालैंड और मेघालय में जहां बहुसंख्यक आबादी हमारे क्रिश्चियन भाई बहनों की है, वहां बीजेपी के लिए इतना जबरदस्त समर्थन लगातार बढ़ रहा है। वहीं नागालैंड में लगातार दूसरी बार हमें गठबंधन को आशीर्वाद मिला है। गोवा में भाजपा लगातार जीत पर जीत का रिकॉर्ड बना रही है। मैं जानता हूं जैसे जैसे कुछ दलों द्वारा फैलाए इस झूठ का पर्दाफाश होगा, वैसे वैसे भाजपा का और विस्तार होता जाएगा। साथियों, कुछ दलों द्वारा पर्दे के पीछे गठबंधन करके भाजपा को बाहर रखने का खेल भी आज देश देख रहा है। जनता देख रही है कि कैसे ये राजनीतिक दल उसके साथ, नागरिकों के साथ, जनता जनार्दन के साथ छल कपट कर रहे हैं। एक राज्य में दोस्ती और दूसरे राज्य में कुश्ती, ऐसा करने वाले राजनीतिक दलों का असली चेहरा जनता के सामने आ चुका है। केरला की जनता भी ये देख रही है कि कैसे लेफ्ट और कांग्रेस दूसरे राज्यों में गठबंधन करते हैं और केरला में एक दूसरे के खिलाफ होने का ढोंग रचाते हैं। सच्चाई यही है कि ये दोनों मिले हुए हैं, दोनों मिलकर केरला को लूट रहे हैं। इसलिए मुझे विश्वास है कि आने वाले वर्षों में भी जैसे नागालैंड में हुआ है, जैसे मेघालय में हुआ है, जैसे गोवा में होता रहा है, केरला में भी भाजपा गठबंधन की सरकार बनेगी। साथियों, नॉर्थ ईस्ट की विजय ने बाकी देश के कार्यकर्ताओं में भी ऊर्जा भर दी है। देश की जनता बार बार भाजपा पर भरोसा जता रही है। हमें विनम्र भाव से आगे बढ़ना है, हमें सभी को साथ लेकर चलना है। आजादी के इस अमृत काल में भारत को विकसित बनाने के लिए सबका प्रयास आवश्यक है। आइए यहां से हम दोगुनी ताकत से राष्ट्र निर्माण में जुट जाएं। त्रिपुरा, नागालैंड और मेघालय की जनता का मैं फिर से एक बार हृदयपूर्वक आभार व्यक्त करता हूं, उनका अभिनंदन करता हूं। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। भारत माता की, भारत माता की, भारत माता की, भारत माता की। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi setting the tone for Lok Sabha 2024 and making a very, very big pitch that the BJP no longer remains constrained to the Hindi belt or to a particular section of community or caste. It is a pan-India party which enjoys the confidence of people across the length and breadth of the country, and throwing the gauntlet down to the left and the Congress and also the Aam Aadmi Party, saying their fallacy, their game, their hypocrisy has been caught out, clearly mentioning Kerala towards the end, saying that like we have done in Nagaland, like we have done in Meghalaya, like we have done in Goa, we will form a government with a union or with a Gathbandhan if very soon in Kerala, because the left and the Congress's double game has been caught out. It was a very, very confident Modi. For him to try and come out and the Prime Minister to come out and say that while there are those who want to say Marja Modi, Bharat or India is saying Mat Ja Modi, is a clarion call. He's laid the foundations for Lok Sabha 2024 with this victory or the success of the BJP in these three states of Nagaland, Tripura and Meghalaya, with the BJP doing well and also its alliance, NEDA, doing very, very well. We're going to take a very short break. Stay with us. Already done. So 179 results is what we're going to see. One is already declared, beg your pardon, and this is 59 and Tripura will be 60. This is a busy morning, ladies and gentlemen, because there is also the G20 summit which is on and it's happening. A lot of activity in the national capital. So we'll go across there because Maria Shakil along with Siddhant and Abhishek Jha will be joining us live with all the activity from there. So we will be hopping, skipping across multiple dimensions of the newscast, but the focus will always remain the election coverage, the news that is the result day. What's the story that's going to be stitched? What's the narrative that's going to be stitched? Will the Northeast dictate the tone for the remaining states? All of this is what will be spoken about. Now, as far as the fight that is as far as the fight is concerned, let's try and, before we go down to our reporters, let's try and understand and start from the state which BJP is trying to retain on its own, that is Tripura. It was a amazing story that was scripted, and when they first came to power, uprooting the left. And before we get to Zaka on that, let's try and quickly look at these exit poll numbers. Now the numbers say that the BJP will consolidate, some of them say it won't be a landslide, it will be hung. The Tipra Motha will come into play as the kingmaker. That's what the Times Now, ETG and Jan Ki Baat numbers are saying. But Zee Metrics and Access My India say that the BJP will be comfortably past the halfway number. Zaka, if Tripura is retained by the BJP and that too comfortably, it's a statement and at multiple levels, because then this third party which comes in and diffuses the vote share for the opposition. In this case, it would be Pratyodey Burman's Tipra Motha.
So I think one of the fascinating things about the Tripura election is, last time the BJP came from behind and surprised everyone with not just, dislodging 30 years of left rule. Manik Sarkar's rule was dislodged, but they got a big win. They got 44 out of 60. That was a 2/3 majority. So to be able to retain a state like that with a similar kind of a majority, if we were to go by the Access My India poll, they will be in that same ballpark. The only poll which is saying it will be a hung house and the Tipra Motha will come into play is the ETG poll. But all the other polls are saying that the BJP will retain the state and retain it rather comfortably. Remember, the halfway mark is 30 plus 1. So if they are going to retain the state anywhere in these numbers, whether it's the Access numbers or whether it is the Z numbers or the Jan Ki Baat numbers, then you're pretty much looking at a kind of majority that the BJP had last time around. And remember, this is a state where they changed the chief minister, much like they did in Uttarakhand, much like they've done in other states. So that will be a strategy that could get some validation if these numbers hold and if the BJP comes back in the same ballpark as it won last time. Two factors, like I said, before I give it to you. One is this party, can they emerge kingmaker, particularly in the tribal districts? Will they eat into either the BJP votes? Remember, the BJP won big time the tribal votes in 2018, also because of the alliance with the IPFT. And left in Congress for the first time, remember, these were the traditional parties in Tripura. For the last 30-40 years, the contest was always between left and Congress until the BJP came to the scene 5 years ago and stole the show. Now, left and Congress are together. Arithmetically, it may be a formidable alliance, but elections don't always work on arithmetic.
For the left and Congress to come together, one wonders what the compulsions, political compulsions have been, that in just about 5 to 6 years or inside a decade, these two arch rivals have actually come together. The Trinamool has also tried to make inroads, but they don't seem to be getting much there. And
so far, I think almost all the polls are saying either between 0 or 3, 1. And I think that's because there's already a third player in Tripura. Unlike in Meghalaya, where the TMC is also contesting there they might have a little more impact than in Tripura. But I think in Tripura, the third player who could have impact is the Tipra Motha. And I think he will eat into both BJP votes as well as, of course, the opposition votes.
Will he pull the steam off, the pressure cooker? Does he do that job where the indigenous groups of Tripura are rallying around Tipra Motha, and there is a fair share of vote share that he pulls around 18 to 20% and pulls about 11 seats? So he becomes a contender there. What does he do? Does he join the party that is going to form the government, or does he decide to sit in opposition? It all depends on the results. If the BJP wins clearly, then we'll have to see what happens. Largely in the northeast, what happens is the regional parties back the party which is going to help them in the center. Now, that is a sentiment we've seen in Meghalaya. Let's look at Nagaland right now. How does Nagaland look at this point? Now, Access My India, Zee Matrix, Times Now, ETG and also Jan Ki Baat, all of them have come out and very clearly said that Nagaland is firmly in the bastion of the BJP plus. So it's very comfortably placed. They're running away with it. The NPF.
Good evening. It's a big saffron sweep in the northeast. The Bharatiya Janata Party and its allies have crossed the majority mark and emerged victorious in Tripura, in Nagaland, and they will form a government with the NPP in Meghalaya. BJP in Tripura has secured a second term and a landslide victory for the NDPP+BJP alliance in Nagaland. It's decimated the opposition. The BJP was a marginal player in the 8 northeastern states until a few years ago. They were in power in alliance only in one state in 2014. Cut to 2023, the BJP is in power in every single one of the 8 states of the Northeast. So what explains this huge surge in popularity in the Northeast of India for a party which did not have a footprint less than a decade ago?
The Northeast is often referred to as a political bellwether for the unique relationship it shares with the Union. Elections in the Northeast makes any dip in the fortunes of the ruling party at the centre extremely significant. The results in Tripura, Nagaland and Meghalaya will provide telling pointers on the sustainability of deeper shifts in India's policy. In Tripura, the BJP-led alliance is set to retain power against combined forces of the left parties and Congress. Voting the challenge from Tipra Motha, which initially threatened to keep BJP off majority mark.
Thank you very much for your this congratulation. And normal, of course, I am very happy. Our party peoples are very happy. And first of all, I want to thank our Honorable Prime Minister, our Honorable Home Minister, our National President JP Nadda ji.
गुबाद्रा ने क्लियरली चुनाव से पहले भी कहा है, अगर हम नहीं जीत पाते तो हम लोग सरकार में तो नहीं जाएंगे, लेकिन विपक्ष में ही बैठेंगे.
Last time, Nagaland had a unique feature of having no opposition. All parties with a presence in the 16-member assembly backed the Nationalist Democratic Party-led government. NDPP+BJP alliance contested these polls with a 40-20 formula, and the 4-time Chief Minister looks set for a 5th term.
जो इंक्लूसिव डेवलपमेंट मोदी सरकार ने डबल इंजन सरकार नागालैंड और दिल्ली मिला के दिया है, उससे हम लोग प्रचंड आवाज से हम लोग जीत के आएंगे.
हम मानते हैं कि नागालैंड में विकास को लेके एक ही ऐतिहासिक सरकार रहेगी.
In Meghalaya, BJP contested on all 60 seats for the first time and ran determined campaigns with its big wigs. BJP was a partner in the state government, but ties soured. However, Chief Minister Conrad Sangma has hinted that the two parties can again come together if the verdict throws up a hung assembly.
Looks like we are short, but we'll wait for the final results. But let's hope for the best, and once the final numbers are out, then we'll take a call.
These elections have shown the mirror to many. The Congress relegated to the fringes and the TMC unable to make mark outside of Bengal. And over the past 8 years, the Bharatiya Janata Party has gradually replaced the grand old Congress party to become a force to reckon with in the northeast region.
And speaking at the victory celebrations at the BJP party office in the national capital, the Prime Minister threw the gauntlet at the opposition and said that this is an acceptance of the people of the northeast of the Saffron Party. And more importantly, he said that Delhi se dil ki duri nahi hai for the northeast. Most importantly, he also said there was a time when the BJP was branded as a party of the Hindi heartland belonging to a certain community. Now he says by winning in the northeast, the image of the BJP not being a minority-friendly party has also been shattered. Let's listen in to what the Prime Minister said, and then I'll open this up to our guests.
आज के नतीजे ये दिखाते हैं कि भारत में लोकतंत्र और लोकतांत्रिक व्यवस्थाओं पर कितनी आस्था है, एक मजबूत आशावाद है। अब नॉर्थ ईस्ट न दिल्ली से दूर है और न ही दिल से दूर है। हमने सबका साथ, सबका विकास, सबका विश्वास और सबका प्रयास एक नया विकास मॉडल देश को दिया है।
All right, I want to quickly run you through the numbers before we open it up to our guests. Tripura, of course, a great story for the BJP because remember, in 2018, they had won a two-thirds majority with 44 seats. That majority has come down to 33, but just enough to be above the halfway mark of 31. The left and Congress, two traditional rivals in the state, came together for the first time. They were able to get just 14 out of the 60 seats in the state. Tipra Motha of Pradyut Dev Varman, the former Congress chief of the state of Tripura, he formed a new party, a fledgling party, and straight away in their first election, they have won 13 seats, all 13 gains because the party did not exist up until even 6 months ago. So this is how the map of Tripura looks like. It's a sea of saffron across particularly this belt, the western belt. This is the belt that sort of borders Bangladesh, where there is a large presence of migrant voters, the Bengali Hindu voters as well. That is a big issue in this particular belt. Whereas in the tribal seats, and I'll just quickly run through that filter, in the tribal seats, Pradyut Dev Burman's party seems to have done extremely well. In fact, all 13 seats they've won in the tribal belt. The BJP had a fall of 11 in that tribal belt compared to 2018. Quickly run you through the other states as well. Meghalaya, where for the longest time it seemed like the Trinamool might have opened its account, and how? Because remember, a large number of Congress MLAs had switched sides to the Trinamool just before the election, but it is the NPP. It only had 20 last time. It was in power in alliance with the BJP as well as the UDP. Now, Conrad Sangma's party increased its tally from 20 to 27. The Congress down to just 5 seats. Remember, in the 2018 election, the Congress was the single largest party. They had 21. They're down to just 5 seats. The TMC, for the first election that they have contested in the state of Meghalaya, they've opened their account with 5 seats. At one stage, TMC was leading in as much as 20 seats, and it was thought that they would end up as the single largest party, but down to just single digits, just 5 seats, the BJP 2 seats. And quickly run you through Nagaland as well, where again it's a straight sweep for the BJP NDPP alliance. 38 out of the 60 seats, again close to a two-thirds majority there for the BJP, up 8 from last time around. Remember, last time around the NDPP was formed after Nefurio split with the NPF. He then joined hands with the BJP and he formed a coalition government. Now that coalition firmed up fully, and the NPF, the mighty Naga People's Front, which had 26 seats last time, down to just 2 seats. So let me now open this up to our panelists. I think what is fascinating about this Northeast election is the BJP has won in alliance in all 3 states and of course in Tripura on its own. But now the BJP is in power either in alliance or on its own in every single state in the Northeast. So what may this mean? Sanju Verma is joining us, BJP national spokesperson. Advocate Ashpreet Kadyal is Congress party spokesperson. Nalin Mehta, consulting editor with Network 18 and author of the book The New BJP. Rashid Kidwai, author and senior journalist, also joining us. Let me start with you, Sanju Verma. You heard what the Prime Minister said in his victory speech at the BJP party headquarters. 3 out of 3 for the BJP to win in alliance or on its own, as is the case in Tripura. It is a stellar performance, no doubt about it. The Prime Minister says the distance between the Northeast and Delhi has been bridged because of this victory.
You know, Zaka, first and foremost, thank you so much for that excellent introduction. You laid down the ground rules for the debate by giving out those numbers, which put things in perspective. You know, I just want to say one thing. What the Prime Minister today said, you know, if you notice, he kept talking about the BJP cadre, our organizational strength, about the average BJP Karyakarta. He actually compared the average BJP Karyakarta to the third eye of Lord Shiva, you know, making the Karyakarta as the all-powerful in the overall scheme of things. And I know that the Prime Minister was not indulging in any kind of platitudes or trying to play to the gallery or to the last common denominator. I just have this to say. If you ask me honestly as the BJP spokesperson, the biggest reason, and I say this, I will back it up with numbers. I think it's the infrastructure story which has unfolded in the last 8.5 years under Prime Minister Modi's leadership, which has mainstreamed Northeast and actually cut down what we used to call once upon a time the tyranny of distance. Okay. And Zaka, without being very verbose, I'll just give you a couple of facts very quickly. I was surprised to find out that Barak Valley in Assam was first brought onto broad gauge only in 2016. Agartala in Tripura, the capital of Tripura, came onto the railway broad gauge only in 2019. And the capital cities of Arunachal Pradesh, Tripura and Assam were also linked with the broad gauge railway network only as recently as 2019. I mean, this was the condition and the state of affairs for more than 6 decades or 5 decades, and Congress has been in power for the longest time at the center during those lost decades. And I'll just quickly add to one thing which nobody is focusing on, apart from the numbers. If you realize, Zaka,
all right, we've lost that audio link with Sanju. We'll go back to her in just a moment. But Ashpreet Kadyal, I think a question begs to be asked of the Congress party. In Meghalaya, in the last election, you were the single largest party. You had 21 seats. You had 21 seats. Today, you're down to just 5 seats. In Tripura, you're again down to just 5 seats. In Nagaland, you've not even managed to open your account. Can the Congress party still call itself the fulcrum of the opposition when it is down to single digits in states where it used to be in power up until a few years ago?
Thank you, Zaka. Kindly allow me an uninterrupted 1 minute. First and foremost, winning is a part and parcel of the game. There was a time back in the day when the Bharatiya Janata Party was at just 2 seats. And today, there are 2 time ki Satta Party. That time changed. So will this time. After the sun sets, it is bound to rise again. It is inevitable. You know, the fact of the matter is that we want to congratulate the Bharatiya Janata Party here. There is one thing that, nobody can take away from the Bharatiya Janata Party, their speciality. Without having delivered anything, without doing anything, they market and advertise really well. We have to give them this commendable job. Add that to the Bharatiya Janata Party. Nobody can take it away. Number 2, we also request that the Bharatiya Janata Party won't repeat the history of center and of the 2 states that they already had, that they have now managed to retain, that they would stop doing away with education, stop doing away with Medicare, stop doing away with employment, start focusing on women empowerment, on farmers, on uplifting backward classes. And not just that, we really hope that the Bharatiya Janata Party would also understand one thing, that the center, when you have a government in the center, it really has a great pull, over the states. So if the Bharatiya Janata Party, may I kindly complete? So the Bharatiya Janata Party, we really hope would do a better job at delivering promises this time.
No, and here is again, one second, madam, 1 second. Here is for me an illustration of the problem, and I'll get Nalin to sort of expand on this.
I can complete what I was saying.
Yeah, I'll come back to you. There are 2 other guests who haven't even started speaking. So, Nalin, here's an illustration of the problem as I see it. To just say that marketing and advertising and gimmicks and, all of these things is what is winning the BJP elections is not only disingenuous, it is actually insulting to the people of the Northeast. I mean, to say that the people of the Northeast have voted for the BJP, and admittedly, they've not won on their own steam in all of these states. In Tripura, yes, but in the other states, they've rode over other bigger regional parties. But to say all of this is marketing, advertising, gimmickry, I'm sorry, you're insulting the average voter of the Northeast, the average voter of these states, Nagaland, Meghalaya, and Tripura. Nalin.
How is this disrespect?
No, 1 second, Nalin.
Nalin,
please. Your name is not Nalin. Let him respond. Yeah.
Zaka, I think it is not very accurate to say this is just marketing and so on, for the very simple reason, while that may be a political belief of those who oppose the BJP, the fact of the matter is the BJP is doing things on the ground because of which it's winning. You can't fool the people all the time. Now, just a simple thing, in this election, the Congress out of all 3 states has won about 8 seats. The BJP has won 6x that number, which is just around between 48 and 50 seats, which is the last number that I saw. In Tripura, they didn't have even a councillor before the last election. They swept it last time. This time, despite a once unheard of alliance between the left and the Congress, they have still come back to power. In Nagaland, they've retained 12 seats as the junior partner in the alliance. In Meghalaya, they've retained 2 seats. In Nagaland, their vote share has gone to 18%. I think if you want to take on the BJP seriously as a party opposed to the BJP, you have to first understand the nature of the beast as it were. If you're not going to be in denial, or you're going to be fighting the wrong battles, then you're not going to be able to beat the BJP. The simple point is, the Congress was once the dominant national party in the Northeast. The BJP has now replaced the Congress as the dominant national party in that region.
Okay.
The BJP didn't even had never formed a government in Northeast before 2016. It had not even come second. But now it's in power in multiple states in the Northeast. And I think this is
all
a
the
moment
states
to
in the Northeast.
introspect.
You know, Rashid, the issue is that not only is the Congress party having conceded almost wholly the position of the major national party that is prevalent in the Northeast, they are now fast losing the major opposition status as well. Look at just look at Meghalaya, where you are in. You're in Shillong, right? This was, like I said, 5 years ago, it was the Congress that was the single largest party. Of course, I don't want to get into the political machinations by which NPP and UDP and BJP came together, but fact is they had 21 seats. Today the Congress is just 5. And the Trinamool Congress, which, this is their first election in Meghalaya, they were not even active in Meghalaya, Rashid, till about, till about a year or so ago, or a couple of years ago. They are on the exact same number of seats as the Congress is. So clearly the Congress is not only conceding, as Nalin said, the national party status to the BJP, they're also potentially conceding the main principal opposition party status also to other parties in the opposition. Rashid. Okay, Nalin, you want to take that, and then I'll go back to the political spokespersons. Yeah.
So, look, the left got decimated last time in Tripura. The left has come back, despite the alliance between Congress and the left. The left has got significant number of seats in Tripura. You are right about Meghalaya as well. The Trinamool Congress has come in. Now, look, I can understand. There is always this older argument that politics in the Northeast is smaller states. There is a propensity to align with the party in the center. That's fine. But why are so many congressmen leaving and joining other parties like the Trinamool Congress? The whole thing of Mukul Sangma is exactly that. I think the Congress should look very seriously at why it's not being able to hold its flock together at the ground level where it matters, outside of the larger ideological battle which keeps happening all the time anyway.
Rashid is back, and I think that's a point well taken. Sushmita Deb from Congress leaves to the TMC. Mukul Sangma is again a classic example, former chief minister, a strong man of the Congress party, leaves to join the Trinamool Congress. Pradyut Dev Varman, again, former chief of the Congress in Tripura, leaves to start his own party. I can understand, Rashid, if people are leaving the Congress to join the BJP, in politics you want to be with the party in power, all of that. I can understand that. But people are leaving the Congress more to join other opposition parties than to join the BJP. That is even more concerning.
Exactly.
Rashid.
Absolutely. I think it's you see, one can go and should introspect and think over it. But it's a larger point is it's a very poor reflection on the entire opposition. There are no ifs and buts in politics. But if the Congress, the left and Tipra had fought together with some kind of adjustment or some kind of alliance, perhaps things would have been better. After all, it's just a matter of 5, 6, 7 seats in Tripura. Similarly, in Meghalaya also. So look at the BJP. The BJP today the BJP, every credit should be given to the BJP. But the fact of the matter is, BJP is not winning even 1/3 of the seats it had contested, but it's able to, be in the government in all 3 states. The Congress has to be clever, and the opposition has to be clever. We have seen it in Goa. We have seen it in so many states. It's a similar story. There is so much of one-upmanship between Trinamool and Congress, Aam Aadmi Party and Congress. So unless the opposition gets the story right, as Nalit was saying, some kind of strategy has to evolve. And Rahul Gandhi and Congress, they have this open door policy. They don't want to stop anyone. I time of Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi, even Narasimha Rao's time, when anybody was leaving the Congress, concerted efforts were made by party managers to prevent that kind of thing. And a lot of people didn't leave the party. But today, I think both Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi, they feel very good. They say, good riddance. Anyone who wants to leave is free to leave.
You know, again, I don't think even if of course, we don't know hypotheticals in politics, but even if left, Congress and Tipra contested together, I think the dynamics of Tripura, the BJP would have won. Perhaps it would have got more than the 33 that it has right now. Left and Congress alone have 45% vote share as per the 2018 elections. 45% vote share should not translate to 14 seats. It should be well more than 14 seats. Congress has won only 5. And the left, all left put together, CPM, CPI, Forward Bloc, everything put together, only 9 seats. In a state where Manik Sarkar was ruling uninterrupted for 20 years, combined left has been reduced to single digits. So I think, and I'll go back to Sanju Verma on this, I come back to what the Prime Minister said. I think the voter in India, whether he's in Karnataka or she's in Tripura or she's in Rajasthan, is responding, A, has my life become better in the last 5 years? If the answer is yes, that voter is willing to give the political benefit of the doubt, or the political benefit as it were, to that party that he or she perceives as having improved their lot. I think that is the fundamental difference, that people are perceiving, a large majority of people are perceiving that the BJP government, whether at state, whether at centre, is working for them. There could be a large number of people who also feel that it is not working for them. But that number of people is not acquired anywhere close to critical mass. Sanju Verma.
Zaka, I think you've nailed it. You know, I don't want to sound offensive today because we are celebrating our victories in the Northeast. But I think, the Congress, I pity it. Forget about being a serious contender in any election. They are not even, the principal opposition party. They have been completely decimated. For the Congress spokespersons to come on television debates and say, I need my 1 minute, I need my 2 minutes. I mean, you can show aggression on television channels, but as Prime Minister Modi said a few weeks back on the floor of the Lok Sabha, and I will read out those 2 couplets which he said, तुम्हारे पांव के नीचे जमीन नहीं है, तुम्हारे पांव के नीचे जमीन नहीं है, पर कमाल तो ये है कि तुम्हें फिर भी यकीन नहीं है. कमाल तो ये है कि तुम्हें फिर भी यकीन नहीं है. You have become the proverbial ostrich. Tell me, Zaka, the Bharat Jodo Yatra ended on 30th January 2023.
Yeah.
Tripura went to the polls on 16th February 2023. Meghalaya and Nagaland went to polls on 27th February 2023. Between 30th January and 27th February, we have all seen visuals of Rahul Gandhi enjoying skiing at Gulmarg. Now he's in Cambridge. He did not find the time to visit Tripura, Meghalaya or Nagaland. And on the other hand, you have people like Narendra Modi, Amit Shah, JP Nadda, who work not 24 but 25 hours out of 24 hours. That is the kind of commitment. You can never take on the Modi juggernaut because you have to first learn to take cognizance of the problem. And the problem in the Congress party is Rahul Gandhi. He is not the solution. He is the key problem which the Congress needs to take cognizance
Rashid
of.
said exactly something similar in a show a few weeks back, and I had tweeted about it, although, I thought I had a different idea on that. But I want to ask Ashpreet Kadyal this. I think there is a problem. Rahul Gandhi in these 3 state elections went to Shillong once, and he must have spoken at length, but fortunately, unfortunately for him, the part that got picked up was where he ticked off the TMC. Okay, that was the part that was picked up by the media. One campaign in Shillong in the month after Bharat Jodo, not going to Tripura, not going to Nagaland, just one campaign. Now, I know there is a school in your party taking off from what happened in Himachal Pradesh saying, if Rahul Gandhi doesn't campaign, it's actually better. We actually stand a better chance. Now, you have to make up your mind, Advocate Ashpreet Kadial. Either Rahul Gandhi is your leader, is your mascot, is the person who's campaigning 24/7 like Mr. Modi and like Mr. Shah, or he is not. The problem with the Congress is they can't seem to, and Sanju is right, you can't seem to make up your mind about Rahul Gandhi.
Thank you. Zaka, kindly allow me an uninterrupted minute. One, Sanju Verma said that, they have to seek uninterrupted minutes. I know Bharatiya Janata Party won't understand that, why we have to do that, because you don't go through it. However, you talked of Mr. Rahul Gandhi. Please, Zaka, you too and Sanju Verma also could, give us an itinerary as to what Mr. Gandhi should do, where he should go, what he should say, etc. We'll follow what you say. We'll devise our strategies according to you. We'll basically change everything according to you. Number 3, the purpose of election is coming to the main points. The purpose of election is, at the end of the day, to work for the welfare of the people. We hope the Bharatiya Janata Party would at least understand that now. And the people, were discussing in the morning after the results came out. What will the Bharatiya Janata Party be discussing in the meeting in the evening? Someone said that they'd be discussing not what to do next or on the next day in the coming year. They discuss how do we plan the strategy to win election in the next tenure. Some Bharatiya Janata Party's leaders are so accustomed to giving statements like this that, in the last 3 states election when it happened, they said this. We'll be planning the next strategy already after winning. That is what the people
Ashpreet Kadial Sahab, I mean, that is how politics has changed. Politics has now become a 24/7, non-stop, relentless pursuit. And if, your opponent, the BJP, is doing that, I mean, if they are playing T20 cricket and you are still playing Test cricket, you can't hope to win against them in a T20
Not
match.
even Test cricket, gully cricket.
100%.
Gully cricket.
No, so the issue is, I'll give the final words to both Nalin and to Rashid, please. Sir, please. I'm really running short of time on the debate. Nalin, I come back to this. I want to take this forward. The Prime Minister said something which I thought was interesting. I guess we'll need a little more data on that. He said, you look at the 3 states that went to polls in the northeast, right? Meghalaya has 75% Christian population. Nagaland is 85% Christian population. And admittedly, the BJP is not the principal player there. In Meghalaya, they will be riding on the coattails of the NPP. In Nagaland, they will be the junior partner to the NDPP. But the fact that such high minority-dominated states were willing to give the BJP a chance, not once but twice, that's got to say something. Nalin.
Yeah, Zaka, absolutely. In Nagaland, the BJP's vote share now is 18.9%, which is a 5 to 6% hike from the last election. In Tripura, it's got 39% of the vote share in a state which is about 1/3 tribal. So I think one of the key things about these advances in the northeast by the BJP is it allows the BJP to legitimately claim that it's not just a Hindi party. They won once, you could have said it was a black swan event. Now you're repeating these triumphs in Tripura. Before that, we've seen that in Manipur. Before that, we've seen that in Assam. We've also seen that in Arunachal. So what this means is it allows the BJP to say it's a pan-Indian party. It operates very differently in the northeast than it does in the Hindi heartland. But it shows tactical adaptability, flexibility, and a differentiated political strategy, which is working for the party. And in states which are overwhelmingly Christian populations, like Nagaland, to have 12 seats with an 18-19% vote share, I think is a significant shift in the polity of that state.
I'll give the final word to Rashid. Rashid, I'm really sorry, but in under a minute, I want to take this forward. You have Karnataka coming up next. Congress does stand a decent chance in that state, but given how it's playing out nationally for them, I don't know if it will be Congress victory or hung house or BJP victory. It seems to be more up in the air now than perhaps it was a month or 2 ago. Then you have, towards the end of the year, you have Rajasthan. I mean, everybody knows what's going on in Rajasthan. I mean, it's as good as a gone case for the Congress. Then you have Madhya Pradesh. It's a state where they do stand a chance. In fact, let's not forget, 5 years ago, Kamal Nath won that state Of course, after that, the BJP managing to get a substantial number of Congress legislators onto its side and then keeping that state. If the Congress does actually play its cards well, it does stand a chance in Madhya Pradesh. But given what's been happening over the last year, I'm not sure about that anymore. And then you have Chhattisgarh. I mean, where does the Congress party go from here?
I think first of all, Congress has to understand that they have a grave problem in hand. Then only you can look for a solution. You look at Jairam Ramesh's tweet today. He says that, he's gloating over the fact that Congress has won 3 by-elections, not talking about 3 state elections. There is no response from Mallikarjun Kharge, at least I have not seen. No response from, of course, Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi. This is a problem. Had it been BJP in a similar situation, they would have admitted that they've made a mistake and they need to strategize better or so. So I think this admission, the Congress seems to be in complete denial instead of admitting that they have a great existential, crisis in hand.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. We'll see how the story plays out. Of course, in politics, anything can happen. Tomorrow is a new day and the next election is a new one. But given the repeated pattern that we're seeing for the better part of the last 8 years, I think either the Congress, takes it upon itself to pull itself out of life support and come back and become the fulcrum of the opposition, or simply cede that space to some of the other parties, whether it's the TMC that's now making its mark in the Northeast, or any other party which may be eminently more capable than the record that we've seen of the Congress party so far. All right, I'm going to move on now to the other big story, and this is a significant one. The Supreme Court today quashed the present system of appointment of Chief Election Commissioner and Election Commissioners and ruled that a panel comprising the Prime Minister, the Chief Justice of India and the Leader of the Opposition will be making these appointments henceforth. Now, this is quite a departure from the current system where only the government decided. There was no say of the opposition or the judiciary. The order has been met with mixed response, some hailing it for bringing it more transparency, others are criticizing it, with the court usurping the government's domain. So are the courts just filling the gap left by the government, or is this a case of pure judicial overreach?
इलेक्शन कमीशन का इंडिपेंडेंट बजट होना चाहिए, इंडिपेंडेंट सेक्रेटरीट होना चाहिए, रूल मेकिंग पावर होना चाहिए।
ये ऐतिहासिक इसलिए है क्योंकि आज संस्थाओं पे 360 डिग्री से इस सरकार का प्रहार है, परोक्ष रूप से या सीधे रूप से।
We have to welcome this judgment. In fact, if you see the director, how CBI director has been appointed, this is they are appointed by a high power committee that the executives cannot appoint this important post.
All right, so this is what the court said, that chief election commissioners and election commissioners have to be appointed on the aid and advice of a panel. That panel will comprise the Prime Minister, the Leader of the Opposition in the Lok Sabha, and the Chief Justice of India. When there is no Leader of the Lok Sabha, then the Leader of the single largest opposition party will play that part. The appointment will be done by the President of India. Now, while the court did say that this will continue to hold good till the law is passed, it is still seen as a setback for the centre, because the court also added that election commissioner's appointment needs to be insulated from executive interference. Now, the centre had expectedly opposed this petition. This is what the centre's contention was, that judiciary cannot interfere in the selection of CEC and ECs. Inclusion of CJI in the process would amount to judicial overreach. Inclusion is in violation of separation of powers. The court can quash appointment if unqualified person is chosen. The presumption that inclusion of judiciary would bring in fairness is wholly flawed. Now, let me go across to both our guests, Ishkaran Mandari, lawyer and political analyst, Ashpreet Karyal, Congress Party spokesperson, joining us. Ishkaran, why do you consider this order today to be flawed? Because if you can choose, CBI directors and Central Vigilance Commissioners basis the same committee recommendation, which many are saying would be fair and transparent because it has one representative of the government, one representative of the opposition, and a neutral arbiter in the CJI, that should be a fair system, shouldn't it?
Zaka, I never said that the order is flawed per se. What I have said is that there are various ways of having transparency. is the only way of transparency the presence of a Supreme Court judge or the CJI? That is the larger philosophical question in our constitutional scheme of things. Because, of course, while we are talking about a transparent process, and we have had certain election commissioners like Mr. M.S. Gill, who was an election commissioner and then a member of Congress and then a minister in the cabinet. But what is the form of transparency and how should that transparency come about? One of the most important paragraphs of the judgment, which has the committee itself, the Supreme Court says that the Parliament, this will hold good till Parliament by law brings out a suitable system. And I think if the government wants to, it anyways had the power, but the judgment itself recognizes that power, and they should bring out an appropriate law of how they think of insulating election commissioners, irrespective of whose government is in power, so that going forward, we have a transparent system. And if the political class wants the system to be dealt by with itself, whether it be civil society, whether it be leader of opposition, we are a multiple party democracy. So it can be other members also. So there are multiple options, but the option is for the Parliament to exercise. If you remember, the Vice President also said about the NJC case that once it was struck down, the Parliament didn't have a whisper to speak. So it's for the Parliament, the